Well, good morning, everybody. In our first map today, we're going to look at the last 72 hours of total accumulated precipitation. We've had a couple of big features, like what's left of Ian, which continued here over the last couple of days to deliver some very heavy rainfall in parts of the mid-Atlantic. In fact, parts of New Jersey here picking up well over 6 inches of rainfall. We then had the low that was really slowly progressing out of Montana and Wyoming, and today is trying to move its way, continuing toward, the eastern Canadian provinces like Ontario and Quebec. But it did deliver decent rainfall amounts in parts of Nebraska and parts of South Dakota as well, including parts of Montana. Now, much of this rainfall will relatively quickly evaporate or get absorbed into the very dry conditions here, which has been an ongoing story in each of these reports. We can also see a lot of that precipitation is still getting pulled up into parts of the Four Corner States. You're going to continue to see that. Well, today I'm in Fargo, North Dakota, and it's interesting to look at the surface wind field in the middle of the day today. This is the high pressure cell a lot of us have been watching and we're concerned about because that one's going to be dipping right here into the midsection of the country, delivering some quite cold air within it and some very dry conditions. But we do have wind advisories out for the Red River Valley of the North here today. Out of the north today, those winds could be gusting well over 30 miles an hour. But that's the high pressure cell we're going to be keeping a very close eye on. Now, just to show you the near-term forecast here from the high-res NAM, let's start this off at 8 a.m. Central Time. And as we just play through, there could continue to be some scattered rain all along that frontal boundary that's still moving to the east here, associated with that low that I talked about that's finally getting pulled into Ontario today and into tonight and eventually into the Hudson Bay. But here's the edge of that high-pressure cell that's coming in. We can continue to see more rain down in parts of New Mexico, and as we watch that front squeeze through, this is now getting through Thursday afternoon and evening, and then working our way into the early morning hours on Friday. There could be some rain out ahead of this. Basically there's frontogenesis along the leading edge of a high pressure cell like this. And while there's limited moisture, we could squeeze out some to produce some precipitation, but it'll be this area of high pressure here that's going to have clear skies, light winds, and the ground is going to be able to radiatively cool very quickly. So as a result, our latest frost map looks something like this. And the biggest changes have primarily been in southern Illinois, Kentucky, into the Appalachian Mountains, where we just keep seeing probably on Saturday and Sunday morning kind of just a farther south penetration of this colder air into this area, possibly leading to a frost, which we've been discussing would be quite early. Now, just to show you these temperatures and how quickly they're going to advance, here's today's highs, but they're going to be changing quite rapidly here in the northern plains of the United States. So going from Wednesday into Thursday, there's the cooler air arriving. And while this cold air dives south, a large ridge continues to set up over the west, keeping things much warmer than normal for this time of year. Here's Saturday's high temperatures. You can see the coldest air compared to normal will be right here in the eastern Corn Belt, and then that presses east. And we got a lot of warm air that tries to return early next week. But this is ahead of a system that I'm really trying to keep a very close eye on here. And I'm going to show it to you in a couple of different ways. First, look how dry the air is that's coming in with this high pressure cell. So these are dew point temperatures, and we're going to have dew point temperatures here down into the low 20s coming out of the Canadian prairie into the northern plains by Friday. So that very dry air starts to press its way on off to the east, and the next shot at dry air, you're going to see it right over here. And this is associated with another system next Tuesday, really Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, that I'll be watching carefully. And the reason for that is the trajectory of this system coming over the Rocky Mountains seems to be opening the Gulf back up. Remember, this is a dew point map, so this is really telling us how much moisture is coming out here. And I want to see where that moisture is going to return to see if we can possibly bring some wetter conditions in here. So let's talk about it. First of all, total precipitation through, let's play this out to Sunday. Very limited overall in the midsection of the country. Very dry from Texas all the way to the Carolinas. Better chances for some scattered rain here in parts of the Great Lakes into New England, but dry in the west as well. We continue to see the above normal rainfall that's kind of getting pulled around that high pressure cell through New Mexico into the panhandles. Now watch what happens after we go from Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. I want you to really focus right here, because what you're going to see is at that point, that low diving down there along the spine of the Rockies, and then it seems to be able to pull moisture out ahead of it into the central part of the United States, which has been extremely dry. Now, a couple of caveats with this. This system I'm talking about, it's currently right here. You're looking down on the North Pole at the jet stream level winds, and that is the shortwave trough that's got to move through this flow and then dive down here. The U.S. is down here, by the way, okay? It's got to dive. So this is several days out. It's a not yet well resolved, and it's got to get around this roadblock, which is this developing trough in the Gulf of Alaska. So much can still change about this. But let's go out there and see what the models are suggesting. So here's the trough ridge pattern. What we're watching is here. Out ahead of it, trough in the Gulf of Alaska, between there and Hawaii, big ridge in the west. So that system has to curl around, here it is, next Saturday, and then push through here by next Monday morning, and then dive into the west. Now, what could happen to make this occur is that trough, if it does back up to the west, allows a wave breaking event in the ridge, which would pull that shortwave trough around and then cut it off over the west. This is the current scenario. And if you hear some doubt in my voice, that's because we're just looking at a single model run, and the ensembles aren't picking up on it too terribly well just yet. But this is what it does. So we've already talked through Friday. So there's the high pressure cell dipping down. You can see the showers in parts of New England and the rain that's coming up through parts of the Four Corners states, plus possibly some frontogenesis here delivering some rainfall. Okay, that high pressure cell dives in. We go into the weekend. This is now Monday. Here we go. There's the system next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Now, do you notice as I rock back and forth that the flow is becoming more conducive to opening the Gulf back up? And I'm just going to be watching for that. That could be the system that really just starts to pull some moisture in. Now, does it produce rain throughout the plains, or is it more in the Midwest and Eastern Corn Belt or Mid-South? All of that is yet to be determined, so we're going to just have to keep watching it. But I will point out that there is enough cold air with it that right now the models, ready? First time I've shown you a snow map, I think, this year, are trying to next Wednesday and Thursday bring in some snow into the Intermountain West. So that could be important to watch. Now, again, a lot of uncertainty, but we're going to keep an eye on it. As it stands, here's the week 1 precipitation anomalies on the left and the week 2 on the right. And what I really want to stress is you notice how the models have now gone over to a wetter pattern for week 2, primarily because of that system diving down and opening the Gulf. So we're going to have to watch this carefully during that time period. Lastly, the bigger features we're going to be paying attention to after we get the new long-range data released tonight. So we'll have that in tomorrow morning's report. That'll be a 7-month outlook from the European model. What I'll be watching most carefully is this Pacific jet and its behavior. That's going to be top of mind for me. And how that Pacific jet changes will largely be determined by what's going on with La Nina, and that's my feature story in today's written report, so I hope you get a chance to read that. We also include at the end of today's report the latest update on South America, which has largely not changed from any of our recent analysis. So we'll pick up there in tomorrow morning's report with the new long-range data, and until then, I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks.